Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Liberal Loudmouth, and as always, I am here with
the real Ron is where the real liberal loudmouth is always at. What's going on with you today, Tim?
shit. Not much, man. We were really excited about the show, and then about 11 o'clock last night, Paul had reached out and said he couldn't make it. So, sorry to those of you that were excited. We were excited. Shit happens.
Don't be scared, Paul. Don't be scared. We love you.
Yeah, we were looking for. We sent him the link anyway, so maybe he'll show up. But you know what that does mean, Ron?
We can just fuck it and do it live.
We can smoke.
That's oh.
Yeah, because we don't smoke or trying not to cuss when we have guests on. And since we don't have a guest on, I'm going to light one up.
Well, do it.
Matter of fact, you know what? Actually, I may just take a dip.
Let me share out our little live here.
All right.
Give me just a second because I got people asking how they can watch the show
with their eyeballs. Tell them
you gotta go hit the subscribe button. The subscribe button.
You gotta get your eye on it. Okay. No, I mean and then share it amongst your friends. Because hopefully, Paul will come back and he didn't offer another date, so that kind of sucks. But there was big news yesterday, wasn't there, Ron?
Yeah, but hang on just a second. Paul didn't offer another date, but Paul is also running for a federal office, and he's busy with a campaign going against this juggernaut, which is Tom Cole. So, and I've been getting, I don't know about you, but I've been getting a lot of people asking me, we need to get Tom Cole out of there. So what's this Paul guy about? And that's why I'm not sure why he friend requested me or us or whatever and tried to hook up, but I'm glad he did. So, but yeah, there was some big news yesterday, dude.
Some big news. Donald Trump, 34 counts. Wow.
Yeah, convicted felon.
It was total exoneration, right? Wasn't that total exoneration?
I know that I'm going to get shit on for this, but I can own more guns and vote legally in Oklahoma, and he cannot.
Sorry, Donnie. You shouldn't have falsified the business records. Now, I will say, to be fair, it's kind of a stupid, maybe victimless crime, maybe. But we are a nation of laws, and that's what we're supposed to do, is follow the law. And when the leader of the country can't even do that, or the one that wants to be the leader can't do that, isn't that a problem? I mean, isn't that weird?
Well, here's the thing. All these Trump supporters, which I don't want to say that I wasn't a Trump supporter at one time. I still liked his policies, his immigration policies, and some of his foreign. I mean, he knew how to handle business, apparently. But he is the most vile human being as far as these Christian conservatives and evangelicals that go out there and they hold up Trump next to Christ and they're trying to make a comparison. It does not compute in my mind. This is one of the most awful. He paid a porn star to shut her mouth after he slept with her.
Was it 130,000?
130,000.
That must have been a good piece of ass.
And the stuff that comes out of this dude's mouth. So, but then we cuss or we smoke or we have opinions.
Thank you.
Don't know. I was called who was it? Scott Esk the other day. He called me atrocious. I was my atrocious manners.
And, like, and then implored people to ban you from a group,
Right. And then he said I was atrocious. He tried to get me banned from a group, which is violating First Amendment rights. Whatever, Scott, you do what do you. But then he's going to vote for this dude that is like grab him by the whatever. And I sleep with porn stars and I own casinos and I don't like to sleep with women that have had children.
Did he say that?
He did say that. I've heard him say that.
Wow. It is weird because, I've seen people go after you just for having been charged with certain crimes or
Right.
recently when you made local news, like local social media influencer Ron Cosby was arrested for that. Like, okay. But
Yeah.
then this guy's actually like convicted of 34 of them, and everybody's like, I'm more MAGA than ever.
Well,
Okay.
and here's what they're saying is, well, the system is rigged, and the justice system, and this is America. This is the justice system. This is what happens.
It's how it works.
I mean, just because you don't like the verdict doesn't mean that it wasn't an honest and just verdict. That's our system of government.
Yep, that's how it works. And
another thing,
go for it.
When you start arguing with people about Trump and Biden and stuff, it sounds like Carly and Barrett arguing, my 10 and 11-year-old. If I get on to Barrett for something, I'm like, what are you doing? You did this. And he's like, yeah, but Carly, I don't give a shit. I'm not talking about Carly. I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
But they're always like, well, then Biden should be arrested. Biden should be in a fucking mental home for Alzheimer's patients, as far as I'm concerned.
Man, I used to think that until I saw him at that State of the Union.
And the State of the Union.
And I was like, okay, this dude stood up here for 2.5 hours responding to hecklers, which means he was making off the cuff comments. So he's not as far gone as even I thought he was. I'm no fan of Genocide Joe. I mean, the guy's helping somebody commit genocide. And whether you agree with Israelis or Gazans or whatever, look at what the kids are going through there. I think we can do a little better than that.
We have to do better than that.
I think we can. I posted the pictures of those kids. Literally, you can see their rib cages. People are starving to death in this area. And I just can't. I can't do that. Genocide Joe.
I'll say this about Trump, too. I think Trump, I voted for Trump 3 different times, I believe. I think he was the right president at the right time. And,
yes.
And now I think we're past that. We need to find somebody. We need to find that, as far as Republicans and conservatives are concerned, I want another Reagan or another senior Bush. I don't want another Trump. I really don't. Give me somebody that's going to bring the nation together, because right now it doesn't matter what you say. These ultra MAGA people are going to vote for Trump. The leftist woke Ryan Walters woke liberals are going to vote for Biden, and then the independents, the people, moderates, the ones in the middle, like you and I, we're going to make up the difference.
Right. And at this point, I don't think I can vote for Joe Biden.
And I don't think I can vote for Donald Trump. So what do? We write somebody's name in?
This is probably the worst decision politically. And I voted every year. First vote that I could cast was with George Bush. I think he was going against Al Gore at the time. That was the first time I was able to vote. And I voted every time I could since then. Of course, I never really got into local politics, but this is the worst one to me, because on one hand, I know Joe is helping Benjamin Netanyahu commit genocide against a bunch of kids and women, and I can't support that. But on the other hand, I know that Trump would do it even worse. He's come out and said, you need to get it over quickly, which means just decimate the whole place and take it over.
Right.
And in fact, I believe his kids have already started getting investors for beachfront property in Gaza because they intend to take it over. And I think that was the intention from day one. I don't think
so gross.
It is gross.
There's a couple of things I want to talk about on the show too. We just got started and I'm excited, but to talk to you, because Lane said I missed these, and I do too. I don't know if you do or not, but I miss them as well. Yeah. Lane, did you have another question you'd like to ask Tim and I? If I know that you always ask people questions, so.
No, and I want to point out, we don't do our show much anymore because shit just keeps happening. Like a couple of months back, my brother died. I don't know if people are aware of that, but I after the lawsuit with the WASO, I just kind of like my give a damn was busted. I didn't want to go out there and say things. And then we started doing that again, started coming back to it. And then my brother died. And I was just like, you know what? Whatever.
Life happens to all of us, but
Yeah.
you got banned, was going through the court stuff. And then I got arrested and was going through my court stuff. And then your brother died and then the divorce. And I mean, we're just human people just having conversations, but it takes up a lot of our time and energy mentally and physically to do this. And we still have to go out and make a living and raise kids and do everything we're doing. But we love the passion in politics. And I mean, I lost Melissa over some dumb shit, but
Dumb
it
shit.
happens.
Dumb shit. Yeah.
We got Christy Gillespie and Broken Arrow and Warner and, now this Paul guy's coming in. I mean, we're getting hit from everywhere.
Yeah. And, it did feel good because like that Christie stuff came up and that kind of drew me back into the fold a little bit because I get triggered when it comes to First Amendment stuff, with what Christie had done with that guy. And
Speaking of this, can you, cause I've been banned and taken out of Citizens for Liberty. Can you share this to Citizens for Liberty or will they not let you because it's,
oh yeah, I can. Let me do that real quick. Well, keep talking so that we don't have dead air.
He's talking about the Christy Gillespie thing, and we don't hate Christy Gillespie. I don't like her, but I don't hate her. She loves Tim. I think she was over at his house the other night. I can't confirm or deny that, but she may have been. I don't know. But Josh Stenros, I know for a fact, hates me and Tim. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Well, did he ban me from it too?
Did he ban you from Citizens for Liberty?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he banned me because I was sharing Tim's shit into Citizens for Liberty. He banned me because I didn't fill out a questionnaire correctly.
Let me see.
You may not be able to share it because Loudmouth is under my name.
No, I can't even find it. So yeah, he banned me. Josh Stenros banned me from Citizens for Liberty.
There is no way. Are you serious? I
want to see the screenshot, Josh. What was your excuse this time? Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, let's do that.
Citizens for Liberty, Josh Stenros, I'll just say, I talked to the guy on the phone and he was saying, Ron's got one strike. He's been spamming. And I'm like, okay, so at this point I knew that he was looking for a reason to ban Ron. So then what was it, like 3 or 4 days later, he comes up with a screenshot that showed that you apparently like 2 or 3 years ago didn't answer these questions. And he was like, oh, you're banned because you didn't answer these questions. And I'm like, dude.
He didn't tell me that I was spamming. He told Tim. He told somebody else.
Yeah, but I'm like, dude, man up and just say I didn't want Ron in here, so I banned him.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to make a fucking excuse for it and lie about it.
Yeah, and Tim did this to me. Tim owned a group and I was in there saying some horrendous shit. And he's like, dude, I got to ban you. You can't be in here. This is my group. And I'm like, okay, cool.
But in my defense, this was something that you and I had talked about for what, week or 2 weeks?
Oh yeah. It was not like I didn't know it was coming.
Yeah. It was like a daily thing. Cause I had 2,000 people in that group.
Oh, it was a huge group. Yeah.
Yeah. And people were posting all the time. And I just kept constant. Oh my God, Ron, reports. And I'm just like, I've got better shit to do than to spend my entire fucking day.
And that's basically what Tim said. He called me. He's like, hey, you got to go, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm like, look, say what you got to say. I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, I know I'm a lot. It's hard to be my friend sometimes. And Josh has been on this show. I think it was him and Todd Autry came on, and we've known him for years. Josh is a good dude, but man, he doesn't have the step back and shit. I might be wrong approach to life.
Yeah, and I've always liked Josh. He's a really smart guy, but it is what it is. But yeah, this is the first time I'm finding out that he banned me, because I posted something this morning to the group, or was it last night? I think it was last night, about the Trump thing, and I guess he didn't like that. So, because what do you say? Yeah, I can't find it. It's gone. So, I mean, I will cry about this after the show, though. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll wait until after the show to cry.
I know what this is about. Hey, have you
Oh, this might have been because I'd posted that Christy Gillespie thing this morning.
Yeah,
but I didn't share it. I didn't share it to Citizens for Liberty. I didn't share it.
Really?
Yeah, I just posted it on the Liberal Loudmouth.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because that's going to lead me into Ryan Walters. I'm going to talk about Ryan Walters.
Yes, SB 1122, I assume, is what you're talking about.
1122. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about this.
So, Christy Gillespie is getting these mailers sent to her from this Job Creators Action Fund. It's a political action committee that has millions of dollars in their account, and they pay their CEO like $500,000 a year, which is nuts. And they sent like 3 mailers out for her in the last week, I think. So it's like, when the millionaires are backing you, that should say something, like, about, because millionaires do things that earn them more money, and things that are good for people aren't generally good for millionaires.
No.
Anyway, how was that going to segue into Ryan?
Because Ryan Walters, the segue is, you have out-of-state influencers, these big PACs that donate so much money into Oklahoma to make sure that people get elected to office that do stuff nationally. So, OK HPR, which I love Liza, and that's a great group. They're usually balls and strikes. But she came out, they came, I won't say she, OK HPR came out stating that you need to call the governor and tell him to veto this bill 1122, which states that Ryan Walters can't spend taxpayer money for his PR going nationally about his agenda. Right. That makes sense to me. And I'm like, okay, thank you, OK HPR, for reminding me. I did call the governor, and I told him to please sign this into law.
Right.
Because I think we have to hold our leaders accountable, just like Trump, just like Ryan Walters, just like Mark McBride, Chris Banning. You know this for a fact. If Chris Banning did some stupid shit, I love the man to death. I would go to jail for him, but I won't lie for him.
Right. Yeah. So no, and I mean, because think about it this way. You've got Ryan Walters gets this team, this PR team.
Tell him about it. Yeah.
Just to schedule meetings in other states, in these national platforms that have absolutely nothing to do with Oklahoma education, making our schools better, or anything like that. And we're paying for that. Well, I guess you guys, because technically I live in Mississippi now, but
yeah, you're a Democrat from Mississippi.
I'm a Democrat from Mississippi. I'm even rarer here than I was in Oklahoma. So he pays this outside group, this private group that isn't bound by transparency laws, with, because if you're hired as a team employed by the state, you are, you can get open records requested, but his private firm doesn't have to be. Yet we're paying for him to go out and beg Trump for a job. That's what he's doing. He's trying to get Trump to notice him so that he'll become the, Secretary of Education for the entire U.S. And Oklahomans should not pay for that.
But it's probably going to happen. But and I'm not shitting on OK HPR, because I think they're a great group and they do some great stuff. I followed them for years. I got pictures with Liza. I love her to death. But they're trying to spin it like this bill was going to keep Ryan from communicating with parents or communicating with his teachers and staff and things of that nature. That's bullshit. Absolutely not the truth.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And whoever runs that page said, well, I know that he eliminated the communication staff at the Oklahoma Department of Education and outsourced it so that actually saved taxpayers money. I'm not worried about saving the money. I want the money to be here in Oklahoma. So if you fire people from the Oklahoma State Department of Education that are making money, taking that money out of their pocket, making them find another job, and then outsourcing it and sending our taxpayer dollars to somebody out of state, that just doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense to me. And I think that's poor management.
Yeah. And like the PR teams for the governor, that kind of makes sense to me, because it's good to get a message out there that makes sense to people. But for like the education and stuff, I don't even know why they need to pay anybody to do that. Just come out and make a damn statement. Go to your car, Ryan, and get your phone and do your video like you always do. It seemed to work just fine. Why? That's free. It doesn't cost anybody anything. But
he's looking for that federal position when Trump gets elected.
Yeah, and HPR was like, well, it's saving us money. And I'm like, it's not about how much money it costs. It's about what the hell they're using the money for.
Yeah, it's right and wrong. It's balls and strikes. It's either right or it's wrong.
Yeah. You guys are so worried about, spending money wisely, yet you're okay with him getting us to pay for him to go on speaking tours about national politics.
I will say this. I know that Josh Steneros got in trouble the other day for HPR because he went on there trying to tarnish their reputation, and I don't give a shit. He did. He was trying to prop up Christy Gillespie. And for those of y'all that don't know, I'm a huge Shelley Gwartney fan. I love her. I've known her for years. Fought with her on the side of a highway. She has a wonderful family. She's smoking hot. I love Shelley Gwartney. I want her to win, but Josh went on there talking about Shelley was a district captain and she had the information first and blah, blah, blah. And he got chastised and he ain't said much since then, but with HPR, they came out with an endorsement today, or not today, a couple of days ago. Not an endorsement there, but Tim Turner had filled out a survey. Great
you mean
job,
Billy
Tim
Bob?
Turner. Billy Bob down in and I say that lovingly, Tim.
No, he's my favorite character on the show.
Yeah,
if you don't get the reference, Varsity Blues, Billy Bob, Tim Turner reminds me so much of Billy Bob off of.
I love Billy Bob, but anyway, Tim Turner, they gave him an A+ rating. He's endorsed by Mark Wayne Mullen. He's fixing to come out with an endorsement from Kevin Stitt, and we know how those endorsement type stuff works. And I'm not taking anything away from him, but they came out with that in Oklahoma. What is it? Oklahoma for Health and Parental Rights, right?
Yeah. Okay. HPR.
Yeah. So the candidate that I'm in so many races right now, but Spring Morrow down there in House District 15, she is a nurse. She's trying to get nurse practitioners their own, where they can practice solely by themselves, not underneath a doctor or anything like that. Wonderful idea if you research it, but I lost my train of thought, Tim. Shit.
Well, I'll add to probably, Spring Morrow stuff. I don't know a whole lot about her. I've never met her, but her policies, what I've seen, make a lot of sense. And she fights hard as hell for veterans care, aftercare, that sort of thing. That's what she's been fighting for a long time. Because I believe her husband, was served for 23 years.
Yeah, Monty's gold. Yeah,
and was injured, and there's a lot of issues in this state. I think we're one of the worst states for how we treat veterans, especially disabled veterans.
Well, and I'll say this: at a debate, Tim brought up the fact that Spring Morrow was married to a Democrat,
and
this goes to me. This goes to me and you.
Yeah, that makes him look bad, because this is a dude that served his country for over 2 decades. And I believe was injured as a result of that, right?
Right. Yes.
He was injured while he was serving. So this guy, like, impugning her husband for being a Democrat when he's out there, fighting for freedom. What the fuck is that? What does that say about you, Tim?
And we went after the GOP. Oh, we got to talk about the GOP, man. I know I'm jumping around.
You down with GOP?
You down with GOP? You not me. Are you've been banned as much as I have? We just keep getting banned, right?
Yeah, basically. People don't like hearing the truth.
Paul Palmer, who came out and verbally vomited that he was going to vote the way the Bible, he even had it. He's like, whatever, my God, Christianity. And then he went to the Constitution, I think. So he's putting his religion above the Constitution of the United States. But the Constitution of the United States protects his right to worship as he wants to.
Right.
So how does that make sense?
It doesn't. And these people, they use the Constitution like they use the Bible. They cherry pick the things out of it they like, and they've ignored the shit that they don't, or don't apply it to the things that they should. Because if you were to go and read the Bible and you were to vote based on the teachings of the Bible, you'd probably vote for a Democrat.
Probably.
Just saying. Because feed the hungry, house the homeless, visit the people in prison. These are not platform things for Republicans.
And I'm not trying to shit on Christianity. I'm really not. That's whatever. There's over 3,000 gods, deities, religions in the world. That's fine, whatever. But I watched a Young Sheldon episode the other day where his mom took away his comic books. She's like, I'm taking these sacrilegious, these worldly things away from you, these books that you. And young Sheldon at 10 years old went and grabbed the Bible, and he said, well, here's something that has genocide, incest, genital mutilation. It probably needs to go too.
Wow. And who said that?
It was on an episode of Young Sheldon that played on CBS.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great show, by the way.
It is a great show.
This like love affair with the Bible and stuff. It's, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but we're not supposed to be this way. We're not supposed to be putting religion above, the people and the government, because we saw what that did. And then we fought a revolutionary war against it. Right.
And when people like Scott S. come and tell me that my behavior is atrocious, according to the word of God, or Peggy stands up in the middle of Golden Corral and screams at your face, you're a Democrat. Oh my God, that was so bad.
Right.
Somebody comes to you and is like, you're the one that got porn removed from Owasso Public Schools? I thought you were an atheist.
Right. Why would you do that if you're an atheist? Like, I don't know, because it was the right thing to do. That's crazy.
It's
you know what I'm looking up right now, Ron?
What you looking at?
You remember that video where they called out JJ Humphrey?
Oh, for the Hofschister?
Hofschister. I got to give a shout out to my boy JJ Humphrey.
That was rude, Tim. He should not have done that. I probably would have, but he should not have done that.
Well, hear me out on this one. This is from a group of people who are going to vote for a man that has nicknames for everybody. As president, he used these nicknames like Pocahontas, Sleepy Joe. I mean, go down the list. He's got a name for everybody.
Yeah. Little Hands Rubio or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah. So how is it all of a sudden like you're going to shit on this dude for calling somebody Hofschister? Like, it doesn't bother you any other time. Just all of a sudden out of nowhere, it becomes an issue.
I have talked to so many politicians up there at the Capitol talking about JJ. And JJ's been on our show. I love JJ to death.
Dude's hilarious.
I love him to death. And they're like, he's kind of like me. You will never not know where you stand with JJ. He's going to tell you.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, I may not agree with a lot of his politics, but the guy has character, and it's some reprieve from some of these stuck up, you know, backdoor dealing, cigar smoking, scotch drinking people that, you know.
Yeah, the steak dinners and Mark McBride is one of the worst. I can't stand Mark McBride because he's absolutely the epitome of establishment politicians to me.
Right.
He's pro Israel, he's pro God, he's pro this, whatever's going to make sure that his name, he's won so many awards and done so many things, and I don't like the dude.
Oh, I found it.
Let's play it.
I'm gonna pull it up here. Let's
and
see.
JJ didn't get stupid. He didn't like, I'll stomp your ass like Mark Wayne Mullen said.
Right. All right. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right. Tell me if you can hear it.
Yeah.
Impediment.
You can hear it. Okay. Here we go.
You got a speech impediment, or
Look at the guy in the back laughing.
I think anybody that has served this state, whether you agree with or not, you should at least say their name correctly. This is a place of respect. The House floor. This is my last term. This is my last time to be on this House floor, and I find it unacceptable for you to mean anybody, Republican, Democrat, elected member. You need to apologize and pronounce her name correctly.
Who was JJ talking about? Hoffmeister?
Yeah. And he called her Hofscheister. Oh man.
But here, I'll say this: Mark McBride was bought and paid for. This is my opinion: bought and paid for by the unions and Hoffmeisters. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you know, and of course, JJ probably shouldn't have said that on the floor. I mean, they're a little more, you know, uppity than that. But it's just funny to watch the hypocrisy unfold in front of you, where they'll turn around and vote for the guy that makes up names for everybody.
Right.
So it's not like they actually care. This is virtue signaling. That's what that is.
And that's why you and I will never be elected to an office, because I would have done the same shit JJ said. You're not going to chastise me on this floor. I'm going to whoop your ass on this floor.
Oh, I would have responded too. Yeah. I'd have brought up exactly what I just said. It's like, oh, okay. Go ahead and vote for Trump, the guy that calls everybody Pocahontas and Little Hands Charlie and whatever the hell else he can get. Oh, Stormy, how's Stormy feeling for you? $130,000 later and 34 felony counts, Ron. Jesus.
I know, but hey, he's still able to run for president, though, Tim. And I'm more MAGA today than I was yesterday.
It's crazy, man.
It's fucking ignorant, man. It's ignorant.
Now, I will say, I hope that he doesn't get jail time, because that would be ridiculous. The response to that, if they were to put handcuffs on him and put him in jail, wow, the response to that would be insane. But I also want to point out that if that had been you or I, we wouldn't even have walked out of the courtroom that day. They would have taken us to jail right there.
Tim, I went to my own house to pick up my son for baseball practice and went to jail for a fucking week.
Right. Yeah. It was a week, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, I worked every day to get your ass out of there too.
I'm kind of, maybe it's my ego, but I'm kind of upset that Grant Miller got his fucking ankle bracelet off
in a week.
And I had to wear mine for like 3 months.
Was it? Oh yeah, that's right. Did he have his on for three weeks?
I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, and then he showed a picture of how it bruised or rubbed his ankle. I'm like, you have no idea. I couldn't sleep at night for that sumbitch buzzing for 3 months.
Yeah, and when he got out in his first Facebook post, I thought it was really good, because there are a lot of problems with our justice system, and it's and the Trump case even exposes some of that, where depending on who you are, you get different treatment than everybody else. But shit like that, like you weren't even guilty. You weren't guilty. No. Yet you had to fucking ankle monitor on you. You spent a week in jail. Did Trump do any of those things? Hell no.
Nope.
Hell no. So yeah, the justice system is a little broken, but it's not against Trump. He actually got favors. I mean,
He got favors.
This dude violated how many gag orders? How many times? Like 3 or 4 times, and got these little piddly ass fines. So no,
there has got to be somebody that steps up and unites the nation and middle of the road. I wish RFK. I wish he could speak correctly. I know that it's like a thing,
right? Yeah, it's not his fault. Yeah, initially, I was really glad that RFK had thrown his hat in the ring, because I've watched that man for years. I used to listen. He had a radio show, and he's really bright, and I agreed with a lot of his politics, but I don't know, something happened to this guy. And did you know that he had a brain worm that had like eaten part of his brain?
No, I know I got a fucking cramp right now, though. Hang on a second.
Well, that sucks. But yeah, he apparently had, I guess, because he eats a lot of tuna, and he ended up getting like a brain worm that they had to, that ate some of his brain. Crazy. So maybe that's why he kind of turned weird. I mean, some of the shit he says is just, I can't support it. And his love affair with Israel, no. But so we don't even have an option there. Joe providing weapons to them so that they can kill women and kids is gross to me, but none of the other candidates are going to not do that. I'm not sure about Jill Stein, but.
So do you think Trump is going to choose Nikki Haley?
I doubt it.
That's the word on the street, man.
It would surprise me if he did, because Trump is all about, ego, and I don't know that a woman beating him in any place or doing so well against him, I don't know that he'd be able to swallow that, but maybe he'll come around as far as, strategy goes.
Lane, what do you mean? What do you
Stop
got?
listening to the word on the street. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Lane, I have to mention this. Lane went up to the Capitol the other day, and he got a citation for being upstanding and getting people registered to vote in Oklahoma, and being just a real decent human being, 18-year-old human being. So
congrats, Lane. You know what, Lane, do you want to come on? Do you want to bring Lane
we'll
on?
send you the link.
We're supposed to have a guest, so we can bring Lane on. He can talk about that. Let's let me go over there and send him a link. Where are you?
I don't know what he's. Oh, I think he's like reffing or something today. He's like reffing basketball games for little kids.
Well, if he can hop on for a bit, he can come on here. We'll get a couple.
Come on, say hi.
Yeah. Yeah. Lane's got a bright future ahead of him in politics. Much brighter than I do, because I can't seem to shut my mouth sometimes. Which, it is what it is.
I don't want to use our show for personal promotion, but I'm fixing to create a page that is Ron for Warner trustee board member.
Boom. You heard it first here. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Did you? Okay. Maybe I should play this here.
Maddie, stop, Maddie. No.
Hold on. No. You've got to watch this. It is absolutely hilarious.
I love you, Maddie.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me go.
Maddie's a dear friend of ours, by the way.
This is hilarious and terrible all at the same time. I probably shouldn't play this, but I'm going to.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live, just like the title says. Hold on. Oh my God, it's
why
so
did
bad.
Why did our viewership just jump up so much?
That's because we said Lizzo, and immediately the bots were like, "We're on this one." All right, here we go. Share this tab instead.
Oh my God, no.
Let me pull that up. Okay,
Tim, this is horrible.
No, it's funny. It's funny. All right, here we go. Tell me if you can hear it.
Here we go.
I was telling you,
Yes.
Okay.
Sheila, these new drugs are pretty amazing. I was feeling so ashamed of myself, watching Randy go out and exercise all the time and not eating as much. But I just don't have the same kind of willpower he has.
Which of the drugs are you on, Sharon?
Ozempic, Manjaro?
Oh, no, I talked to my doctor. He said insurance would only pay for those if I had diabetes.
But if you can't afford them, then how are you managing your weight?
Don't you know, Sheila? Now there's a whole new obesity drug for those of us who can't afford Ozempic and Manjaro. I controlled all my cravings to be thinner with Lizzo.
It's Lizzo. FDA-approved Lizzo makes you feel good about your weight, and it costs 90% less than Ozempic.
I've lowered my standards and my expectations.
It's Lizzo. In case studies,
Oh
70%
my
of
God.
patients on Lizzo no longer cared how much they weighed.
I don't give two shits.
It's Lizzo. Lizzo helps you eat everything you want and keep physical activity to a minimum. Some patients report constipation while listening to Lizzo. Stop listening to Lizzo if you experience suicide.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. I do not support that message.
That is hilarious.
Oh my
It's Lizzo.
It is well. It is
It
well.
is very well. So I don't see Lane yet. Maybe he can't come on, but either way, what else do you got that's going on?
Oh, I got all kinds of stuff. Do we want to talk about Tulsa Parents' Voice?
I mean, you can if you want. I don't know what Tulsa Parents' Voice is doing right now, but I know that you can't see it, at least not on your main account. I don't know if you have any alternate accounts or not, but
no. Let's talk about Broken Arrow and Christy and Shelley and Tim Brooks. Tim Brooks actually won that debate the other night.
yeah.
But I love Shelley. But then we also have Dean Davis and what's the other guy's name?
Boatman or Guthrie?
Boatman and Guthrie. Yeah, they're running down there in Bixby. I'm getting beat up because I'm supporting Boatman because Moms for Liberty are like all over Guthrie's nuts. But
is that who's against Boatman?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know much about the local race. What district is that?
That is District
67?
67, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because isn't Banning 66? Is Banning 66?
No, Banning's 24, but he's
24?
House. This is a Senate district.
Oh, that's for Senate. Okay.
Hang on a second.
I was going to say because that's right by each other. Yeah, I don't know much about Boatman, but apparently
let's talk about the mailers that you've been putting out. The Fount Holland, the packs sending out these duplicate mailers.
I don't know if it's Fount Holland. I know it's from Job Creators Action Fund. But yeah, so Boatman and Gillespie both got basically a carbon copy of the mailers, two different districts. And it's like when you've got the same multi-million-dollar political action committee that are pushing, these specific candidates, I don't know, to me that if you're wanting to drain the swamp, it's probably a good idea to stay away from the people that are being supported by the swamp. And when we're talking about politics, the ones that are millionaires and pushing all this money into local races, when those entities, that political action committee isn't even from Oklahoma, it should give you pause. I mean, Absolutely. It really should. That's not grassroots. That's establishment trying to maintain their hold on everything. Like Mississippi, for example. This state is in the shitter. The roads are terrible. The schools are terrible. It's very poor. There's not a whole lot looking up, but they just keep putting the same people in office. There's no change up here. And I think it's because people allow their emotions to dictate their votes instead of listening to policy and caring about policy. It's kind of sad when the only thing you need to win an election is name recognition and having a personality that people like.
Well, even if let me ask you something I know that upset you the other day that maybe you weren't privy to or hadn't realized or whatever, but I've been told this by politicians for years and years and years. Dean Davis actually and TJ Marty told me this on the side of the highway. when I went down there fighting against Logan Phillips to get Chris Banning elected. We have to be out here and support the incumbent, or we don't get next year's campaign funds or whatever.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's all there is to say about that. That is how they maintain their control over people. You
And
do what
that's
I
the-
tell you, or you're going to lose your shit, because
And
we're going to get, yeah.
TJ
Go
Marty told me, he's like, what if you get some asshole up there at the House or some Senate, and we have to come out here, we have to like maintain it, we have to do this. And I'm like, TJ, what if you're all assholes up there? You're taking away the vote of the people.
Right. Yeah, and I got to say, probably the worst Supreme Court decision in the history of the United States, aside from slavery, was Citizens United, where they essentially declared that corporations are people and that money is money is not speech. Money should not be treated as speech. That means that the more money you have, the more speech you have, and that's bullshit. These corporations should not be dictating to us, because what happens is you get this just self-repeating cycle where the corporations with their millions of dollars can just spend all kinds of money to these PACs, who then put their money behind these candidates that they believe will pass legislation that helps those corporations in the future. And we all know this is true. We know it happens. We see it happen all the time. Yet when it comes time for the votes to be cast and you're in a campaign, you end up with people who go at each other with these cultural issues like abortion, or, name it. Oh my goodness, boys in the girls' bathroom, that kind of shit that gets people emotional so that they stop thinking about what it is they're actually wanting to vote for. So then nothing gets changed, because they get you bickering with each other about stupid shit that doesn't matter, while they play their little games and get legislation passed that helps the corporations and the uber wealthy in the country. That's what's happening.
Absolutely. Look at this shiny thing right here. Look at the shiny thing, and we're going to slip all the other bullshit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
And people keep falling for it because they get blinded by either rage or emotional baggage or whatever it is, because I don't want my fucking daughter dealing with some dude in a bathroom either, but I'm not going to let that dictate who is going to be in charge of passing legislation that's going to fund public schools, fund public education, or healthcare, or fund all of these things, because that is irrelevant. And that generally gets decided not by legislators, but by the courts. Legislators don't tend to deal with those kinds of things. The courts do. And that's
maybe we need to focus on the courts then, the judges.
That's what the corporations have been doing. They have pumped so much money into these court cases that go right up into the Supreme Court. Like, they're just made to order for the Supreme Court to overrule and overturn these things. There's a big, God, I can't remember her name, but she talks about this often, and she'll bring in these charts of all the dark money that goes into lawyers that deal with the court systems, and even grease the palms of these justices.
That is Jenny White?
No, it's a federal, and it's a Democrat. She's a Democrat. I don't know the statistics off my head, so I'm not even going to try to spew them out, but there's a lot of money that goes into that stuff. Just look at Harlan Crow with his relationship with the black justice. God, I can't think of his name. Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
There's a billionaire taking this guy out on vacations, bought him a big ass RV.
And how is he not influenced by that? How is he not influenced?
Right. And he's had multiple cases that came through that benefited Harlan Crow and his people.
So what's wrong with saying that this is bullshit? This is You can't do this.
Nothing. And whether you're a Republican or Democrat or agree with Clarence Thomas or not, I think we should all be able to at least agree that ethics is important, especially in the justice system. That,
Of course.
like all the federal judges below the Supreme Court can't accept gifts like that. And if they do, they have to report that shit. They have federal ethics, rules for judges, but not the Supreme Court justices. There's nobody to hold them accountable. The only accountability that we can do with the justice is to impeach them and remove them. And I think that's happened, once?
I think one time, yeah.
And until we do that, I don't know how well we're going to be able to do as a country, because right now you've got I know a lot of Republicans love this Supreme Court.
Yeah. As a conservative, it's a good Supreme Court, I guess. But
be careful what you wish for is all I can say. I mean, they're talking about, interracial marriage, getting rid of that. And there's a lot of Republicans that support that. Getting rid of a woman's right to vote. There's a lot of Republicans that support that.
Riley Flack, he's been on Fox News more than I have.
Nuts. It's nuts.
Wants to repeal the 19th Amendment.
Yeah, it's like women shouldn't vote. And, I've spoken to his family members, and he doesn't say these things in jest. He believes this shit.
Not. Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, because in the Bible, if you're a woman, you're supposed to be subservient to the man. I guess that's good for me and you, Ron.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But we'll see what happens.
I know we're coming up on an hour. I want to use the last 9-10 minutes to say hi to Maria Seidler, Melissa Remington, Janice
Melissa, yeah, Josh Stenrose.
Stenrose. Who else we need to give a shout out to? Of course, Christy Gillespie. A lot of people think that I hate her. I don't hate her. I haven't endorsed and will not endorse anybody in that race. But I knew about that issue long time ago, and it came up in a conversation and it got put out there. So once I did that, I'm like, well, I guess I'm kind of part of this thing now. Yeah. And I'll have to say this about, she probably won't like this, but Deborah Wimpy is the only politician in the world that I'm scared to death of. That lady is like mafioso type. She will make you disappear. I'm joking. I'm joking, Deb. No, she's a great lady. I love her to death. But she runs a tight ship, and she does not bullshit with people, and that's what I love about her. So,
yeah.
What was that?
And what was what? I didn't say anything.
You got a notification?
No. No, it must have been you. Must have been.
It was Deb. She's like, stop talking about your show.
No, it was Maria Seidler.
Brian Hobbs replied to Scott Eska's comment.
Oh, please read that. Scott Esk, for some reason, hates Ron.
Scott Esk thinks that George Floyd was not murdered, and he absolutely was.
Yeah. I mean, we watched it. Yeah, but he'd done drugs. Okay.
Brian Hobbs, who I absolutely love to death, says Scott Esk, as one of the people who came up with the GOP index idea, I can tell you that one is bullshit.
Oh, he's probably talking about
Chris Banning's 59% score.
Yeah, because Scott Esk had brought up, and I don't know that the scorecard said it, but said that Chris Banning was only 59% conservative rating.
Right.
Called him a rhino. Like, Chris
Banning is not. No.
Chris isn't a rhino. People use that term way too often. Like,
just like Ryan Walters uses woke.
Yeah, like Boatman. He voted for that shitty bill, and all of a sudden he turns into a rhino. And, I don't like or dislike Boatman. I don't know anything about him, but Um, it's crazy how people will just turn on your entire personhood because of one action or decision or
Right.
whatever. You know,
It's the shiny thing. It's the shiny thing.
right. Please look, pay attention to this, and fuck everything else that you've ever done. It's weird, but you know, it goes back to the felony thing.
It does. Let's recap. Trump is a convicted felon. He can't own guns.
Yeah.
Or vote.
You can't even like have a gun in your person, right? Like hold a gun, can you?
No, you can't be. No, absolutely not.
Is that federal or is that by state?
That's federal. Yeah.
Is it federal? Yeah, it is kind of weird. Especially for something like what he did. I can understand it if your felony was related to gun crime, you know, like running guns and drugs or whatever, but
or something violent or something like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but for like the white, you know, the white collar crime that Trump committed, you know, falsifying business records and paying a porn star for sex, essentially, that kind of thing just doesn't jive with me to make it so that you can't own a firearm, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong there? Like, is that weird?
No, absolutely not. And that's I'm still struggling who to vote for president, because I'm like, I don't. It's a fucking no-win situation. It's either genocide or apocalypse. I mean, which one do you want to choose?
I mean, Jill Stein, I guess, because she's at the Green Party, right? I think she's at the Green Party. She may be the only damned option for me. And then, of course, liberals will be like, oh, my God, if you vote for Jill Stein, you're voting for Donald Trump. And then, you know, Trumpists are like, oh, my God, if you vote for Jill Stein, you're voting for Biden. You can't win. So,
it's a cult mentality these people have.
Yeah, it's, you know, and I don't know, but it's not a good situation. But I can't, in good conscience, vote for Joe Biden. I just can't do it.
I'll tell you this. I know Charity Lynch, and I know that you know her too. We love her. She's great girl or woman. I didn't mean to say girl. Sorry. She's a great person. But she came out with a very Trumpish stand down, stand back, or whatever.
Charity, the lady that had invited me out to speak?
Yeah, that invited you to speak.
Really?
And then Linnell from McIntosh
Medley.
County GOP, Medley.
Yeah, which I'm banned from as well.
You can't even post in that group, but she came out and supported you.
Yeah.
These people, the cultish mentality of the brainwashing, you can't say anything unless we approve it, is bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit. And and this may take me a little longer than we have time for, but
no, go ahead.
I made a point to Josh Stenros when, you know, we were talking about, it's like, yes, if you run a private group, you have every right to ban somebody because you don't have to listen to them. I get that. Totally understand it. It's not illegal. But if we as Americans want to say that we're American and we hold the values that the Constitution put forward, then should we not employ those basic foundational principles in our day-to-day lives? Meaning, if somebody has something to say, you don't just ban them. You don't just ban them. You fucking sit there and listen to them because we're Americans and we believe in this shit. Because if you're okay with the moment that you don't have to sit there and let somebody talk, that you don't do it, what does that say about you? It's the same with the Christians who they'll say that they're a Christian and that they don't employ any of the moral values that Christ teaches in the Bible. They don't do any of those things in their day-to-day life. I call those people fake Christians. Why is it not the same case with Americans that claim that they love the Constitution and the values that it holds, but don't do anything to actually employ them in their own lives? Those are fake Americans. They're fake Americans.
Josh kicked me. We're still friends on Facebook, but Josh kicked me out of Citizens for Liberty, and he still allowed, well, until today, I guess, still allowed you to be in there. But Josh then came on my page and started talking shit about me.
Right.
You're welcome. You're a fucking American. Come say what you want to say. I'm
Yeah.
not going to censor or take away your rights.
Right. And not that you don't have the right to do it, but that just means that these are values that you embody in your own personal life. And I am the same way. Now, there obviously there's an extent to all that. If somebody comes in, fuck you, fuck this, fuck everybody, blah blah blah, isn't being constructive in their disagreement or dissent with you, that's a different story. I mean, nobody has to sit there and listen to somebody trash you or whatever. I get that, but generally speaking, it's bullshit that we don't do this in our everyday life. And I wish there were more people that were like us that had that belief. Like, look,
well, and I will say,
I'm not going to block you. I
will say this to you. Back in 2020, COVID hit and everything, and I was all Trump and amped up, and I came at your group hard, and that you had every right to kick me out because I was off my rails on that one.
I made posts specific to you in the group and told everybody, look, this guy has a right to come in here and say what I'm not going to ban or block any of you for doing these things. So, block this person if you don't like them. But it just kept going and it just became too much for me.
I have a particular set of skills to where I get people fucking riled up, dude.
Yeah, I think the last comment that you had made was something about, it was okay for grandma to die or something.
Yeah, grandparents are old,
like,
they can
well,
die. Whatever.
They're old, they're going to die anyway, or something like that. I'm like, okay,
it was so bad. It was
okay.
So bad.
All right. We gotta cut this off now. No, but this was before you and I were really good friends. But I think that's where the respect grew. Between us because of that situation,
because of those core values where we respect each other's opinion. We don't have to like it, but we respect it.
Right. That's a core American value. If you want to have core American values, then you need to employ those same values in your day-to-day life. Otherwise, it's just lip service bullshit. It's what can I get from the government, not what can I give to everybody around me.
It's dressing up on Easter and going to church,
right?
But not ever going to church any other time,
and doing hookers and blow on every other day,
right?
Yeah. Anyway, well, we are past the hour. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Vote for Shelley Gortney. Vote for Dean Davis. Spring Morrow. Who else? Boatman. That's all I got.
He's against Guthrie, right?
Yeah, Senate District. I think it's 67. I think you're right.
I don't know anything about any of those people. I just know about Gillespie. And that's, that's where I post some stuff. So it's okay. Anyway. All right. Well, guys, for those of you that watched this far, thank you. We appreciate it. And we'll try to do more of these, and we're going to try and get Paul back on the show. We'd love to talk to him. If you're running for office, reach out to us and we'll have you on the show no matter what office you're running for. We'll give you a platform. That's what we're here for. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it for today. We will catch you next time.
Later.
This is the Loudmouse. Peace.